I'm going to tell you how much money I've saved by owning two Teslas over the last year. Before we get started, make sure you hit the like button as well as subscribe to my channel. Every Friday, I make a new video about personal finance and technology. So make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any new videos. So I've owned two Teslas now for almost 3 years, and I've seen some significant savings versus having a gas vehicle and going and filling it up at the gas station. So a lot of people have asked me about how it works with charging, and I've actually made a video. It's an older video that I made when I very first started my channel, but it explains the different levels of charging that you can have, whether it's at home, at the superchargers, or anything like that. So I will link that video at the end of this video so that you can watch that if you have any questions about the different speeds, how much it costs, and things like that. So I won't really go into that in this particular video, but I will kind of share the amount of money that I've saved versus having a gas vehicle for both of my Teslas. So a lot of people ask me, like, since you charge at home the most of the time, has your electric bill went up a lot? And I'll tell you the answer is no, without really going into full details, which I'll kind of cover a little bit later. But for the most part, no, my electric bill has not increased, and I have a level 2 charger in my house, as well as we use the regular 120 volt charger that you can plug into any outlet. I normally use that quite often, even more than my level 2 charger that will charge my vehicles fairly quickly, about 35 to 40 miles an hour. I prefer to actually use the regular just trickle charger or 120 volt that charges about 3 to 5 miles an hour, just because I can slowly charge it, and most of the time when I'm driving around town, I don't really need to have a long charge on it. I only typically charge it when I need to go somewhere pretty quickly, or if my battery is down really low and I need to charge it because I'm maybe going on a trip or something. But for the most part, I generally try to charge it using the regular 120 volt. So let's get into the first vehicle and how much I've spent over the year as far as supercharging, charging at home, what the rates are. And I will start with the Tesla Model 3, and then I'll talk about the Tesla Model S. And that particular, my Tesla Model S has free supercharging built into it, so I don't pay anything to use that. And most of the time when I'm traveling, I try to take that car because I won't have to pay for anything. But sometimes I have to take my Tesla Model 3, and I will use a supercharger, but it's not a lot of money. So in the past month, I'll tell you what I've spent for my Tesla Model 3 as far as charging at home, and if I've charged anything at the supercharger, which I don't think I have in the Tesla Model 3. I think I've only charged my vehicle at the supercharger in the Tesla Model S. So in the past month, I've spent $40 on charging my Tesla Model 3 at home, and I've not used any supercharging in the last month or so, and I've saved $85 versus using a gas vehicle. So if I had a gas vehicle, I would have spent roughly around $85 to travel wherever I needed to travel there. So I've saved $85 over using a gas powered vehicle. My normal charge rate is about 12 cents per kilowatt, so that's very cheap versus, think about a gallon of gas, maybe $3 or $4. So I'm definitely saving a ton of money by using and charging at home. Now, over the last year, I have used the Tesla supercharger in the Tesla Model 3, but it's only been about 10% of the amount that I've charged. 90% of the charging that I have has been charged at home. And I've spent, over the last year, I've spent $710 for charging my Tesla Model 3 at home. Like I said, charging on the regular 120 volt, or using the NEMA 1450 charger that I've used in the past. And I'll link some of those charging videos that I have, so explaining to you a little bit about what those are at the end of this video, so you can check those out if you have any further questions about charging. But so owning my Tesla Model 3 and charging it, I've saved over $1,464 versus having a gas powered vehicle in that same amount of time. So I would have spent about $1,400 filling up that vehicle and traveling to and from where I need to travel in the last year or so versus having a Tesla Model 3. So it's definitely worth it. So I've saved a little bit, almost $1,500 by owning a Tesla versus, or even any electric vehicle versus having a gas powered vehicle. So now let's switch a little bit of focus over to the Tesla Model S. And I've definitely charged a lot more in my Tesla Model S at the superchargers because it's free. I don't pay anything to charge that vehicle at all at the Tesla superchargers. So let's take a look at that vehicle and tell you what I've spent approximately for charging that vehicle at home. And then at the Tesla supercharger, of course, there's no charge associated with that. It just takes a little longer because it is a 2013. In the past month, to charge my Tesla Model S, it only cost me $24 to charge that vehicle up at home. And like I said, the majority of the time, I try to use just the regular charger that you can use just to compare, because a lot of people ask me like, hey, what about if I don't have a level 2 charger, if I can't have one installed? You can literally plug your vehicle into the 110 volt, 120 volt charger outlet, and you can charge your vehicle, especially if you're driving around town and don't have to travel fairly far for your work or anything else that you might be doing. You can definitely get around town with no issues. And then in a couple of days, technically, you could charge your vehicle, you could have your vehicle charged and just using the 120 volt within a couple of days. Of course, you'd have to leave it on the charger, and if you drive it, it's going to take a little bit away from it. But if you're able to leave it on the charger and drive another vehicle like I can, then you're fine. You can definitely not have to worry about that. Now, in the year, I spent $374 charging that vehicle at home, because like I said, there's no charge for me to use a Tesla supercharger. And now this one is a little bit different. It says that I have charged the Tesla Model S 72% at my home, and then another 28% at the Tesla supercharger. And that's true, because I generally try to, if I'm going anywhere traveling wise, I generally try to take that vehicle because I don't have to pay for anything, and it's just easy to be able to come and go and not have to worry about having any charge associated with it. The same thing kilowatt wise at home. It's about 12 cents per kilowatt, which is cheap. In most parts of the country, even in charging at home, it's maybe about 20 to 25 cents per kilowatt. But here in Tennessee, it's fairly cheap to charge your vehicle. Even during peak hours or off peak would be even less. So if you are wanting to think about getting an electric vehicle, it's definitely a lot cheaper. You can definitely save some money. And then my total savings for the Tesla Model S, which is crazy to me, is over $1,746 for just owning the Tesla Model S and charging it at home and the Tesla supercharger. So $1,746 is what I save by going with a electric vehicle over a traditional gas powered vehicle. And then in the last year, I've saved over $3,200 by owning 2 Teslas and charging at home, or even using the Tesla supercharger. It's actually $3,210 that I've actually saved by owning 2 Teslas or 2 electric vehicles versus owning 2 gas powered vehicles. I just want to share how you can save a lot of money by owning a electric vehicle. Doesn't necessarily have to be a Tesla. Tesla's my preference, but if you have another electric vehicle, I definitely think you'll be able to see some savings right away with just a couple of months of owning that electric vehicle versus having a gas. Well, that's going to do it for today. Make sure to comment your questions below about any electric vehicles, any charging questions that you might have, or anything as far as the charging levels, speeds, and things like that, and I'll try to answer those questions below. Also, make sure to check out my other videos on my channel, including some of the charging videos that I have posted. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.